Our new Defense Minister, Harjit Sajjan, thinks we could have negotiated with ISIS at an earlier stage. When asked Thursday about confronting ISIS, Sajjan said this: "We need to get better as an international coalition, better at looking at the threats early on, to making sure that we identify them early so they don't balloon into these big threats." Then he said, "They were smaller at one time. We need to get better at identifying the subtle indicators so we might have been able to deal with it diplomatically." He thinks we could have dealt with ISIS diplomatically if we had dealt with them sooner. That's crazy talk, liberal crazy talk. I had such high hopes for this new minister. And I have a lot of respect for Sajjan. He was a Vancouver police detective for over 10 years and was a reservist that served 3 tours of duty in Afghanistan. That's amazing. Honestly, I hope he has a lot better sense than what he's talking and he's just parroting the Liberal Party line. I really do hope so. But could we have negotiated with ISIS? Well, Jordan tried negotiating a way to get their fighter pilot back that had been taken hostage by ISIS. Muad al-Qasasbeh was a fighter pilot shot down on a sortie over the Islamic State capital of Raqqa on December 24, 2014. Jordanian officials frantically negotiated his release for over a month. Then they learned in early February that ISIS had burned him alive in a cage and filmed the whole thing on approximately January 3rd of 2015. Now, how could anyone think they could have good faith diplomatic relations with animals who would do that? Then there was Kayla Meuller. She was an American aid worker who had traveled to Syria and was kidnapped by ISIS. She was forced to convert to Islam, and then she was tortured and raped for 18 months. She was forced to marry Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the proclaimed caliph of the Islamic State. And Kayla was ultimately killed by ISIS after being ransomed for $1 million to her family. Do these seem like the kind of people we can negotiate with? And if this is how ISIS treats aid workers, how do you think they would treat a diplomat? And how could we forget the ISIS-inspired attack on our own parliament buildings last year? Michael Zehaf-Bibeau killed Nathan Cirillo before storming into the parliament buildings and shooting up the place. He was ultimately killed in a hail of gunfire by Sergeant-at-Arms Kevin Vickers. Bibeau was, by his own words, inspired by violent jihad in the name of Sharia. Zehaf-Bibeau was motivated by the same violent ideology as ISIS, and he didn't care about negotiation. In fact, he attacked the seat of government. Yet Sajjan expects violent jihadists to respect the authority of Canadian diplomats? That's crazy talk. If Minister Sajjan thinks that diplomatic relations are possible with ISIS, I'd like to see him walk into the Department of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Development and ask for a volunteer, because he would be asking a Canadian diplomat to go on a suicide mission. The horrible things ISIS would do to a high-value target like a diplomat would be unspeakably evil. I doubt Minister Sajjan would get many takers. For TheRebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid.